Cool.
Okay, cool. So, like we were saying, yeah, belonging and becoming. That's like it's definitely the theme of the book, which is super nice because it kind of brings everything back to like a central point that we can like come back to and say, okay, this is about belonging and about the students becoming. And so it's just applying different concepts to those two words, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And I put like on that same page that we were talking about is like only when we understand just where they are in the process in aspects of becoming can we like actually catch clues as to what procedures to use and what skills to teach and what opportunities to offer. So like whenever we see where they're at, that's when we can better teach them. And so that's like nice because it kind of gives us like a hint.
Yeah. And going along with that too, like at one point they talked about like getting to know the student as an individual and getting to know the student as a group. So like because a lot of the times like these kids, well I know like I was the same way when I was growing up, but like they will act one way when you're one-on-one like talking, and then as soon as they have an audience, they're gonna completely be a different person. So like getting to know what makes them tick, what you need to say, things like that, like within the classroom when everybody's watching, and then like what they need to know, like when you're just talking to them, trying to get work on stuff. Like that.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Like, how would you do that? Would you do like interviews with them, kind of?
Well, it honestly depends.
Like, just one-on-one work, like just depends on the scenario.
Well, it depends on the class size, depends on where you are. Like, it's not gonna be like parent-teacher conferences. Like, that's not the only time that you're gonna be able to talk to your kid or the kids. But like, it's. I think it'd change with the situation.
Yeah, I actually the inner city school I'm in right now. There's actually a kid. I was just remembering this. That's like all the other kids are like tiny and young, and you can tell that they're in 5th grade. And then there's this one girl that's been held back like a couple years, and she's older. She looks older. Like she's definitely like has an attitude that's older. And so honestly, what my teacher does is he spends minutes with each student throughout the day. Like it's not a huge amount of time. It's not that one-on-one like 15 minutes of whatever. It's like, hey, how's your day going today? Tell me about your day yesterday. What happened today that you really enjoyed? And they love that. And he gets to know more about them, and then they also feel valued during that time. And then he can figure out what they need that day. Because with inner kids, it's almost a day-to-day change of their attitudes and like the way that they go throughout the day. And it's crazy. Like it's exhausting for me. Like I'm like, how do I know how to catch up with these kids? But like it really is, how do I feel today? And how is that going to govern the way that I learn today? And it's crazy. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. It helps a lot.
And then when you actually like, get to know the students on a personal level, you'll realize, or you'll actually get to know what students need that type of attention, extra attention, and what students don't want it, or what students don't need it. I mean, it's just like the fact that you're going to have to treat some students differently just to get a reaction out of them, but like, I don't know, interesting.
Definitely.
I was just going to say that it shows that you respect the students, and by the teacher giving respect to the students are going to also want to give respect back to the teacher.
Absolutely.
Just you're making that strong connection.
Definitely. There's more of a personal thing. And that's where like it kind of goes into all these like developments that we kind of talked about earlier. Like I like that it said because young adolescents do this, then educators must. And it kind of gives like a parallel, like if you see this or anything like it, then this is what you need to do or this is what you can do. Even like down to like often make poor food choices. It's like encourage adequate sleep, nutrition, and hydration. Like how we do that in the classroom, but like it is kind of our job to say like, hey, did you bring a crappy lunch today? Or did you actually like get good food? Or like, are you getting enough sleep? Are you staying up playing Fortnite? Like, what are you doing? And, of course the kids are because their parents don't care or they, whatever. But it's interesting that like, that's something that we have to like kind of look out for on top of like all the other stuff too.
It's just like why when you start thinking about how an educator goes than just like teaching on that. Like, you're such a like I don't know. It's just you have a big opportunity to be in like a role, whatever you feel like, especially if they're looking for it. But
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's funny because like one of the things that I noticed was like in emotional development, it said like avoid sarcasm, and that's something that I'm really bad at. Like especially with these kids, like the teacher that I'm actually with, my mentor teacher, is the most sarcastic guy. Like he is hilarious, and they love it. You know, like they eat it up because he is, you know, like them, and he treats them the way, uses their vernacular. Like he treats them the way that they want to be treated as like peers, but they know that he's in charge. And so it's like I would love to have a classroom like that where I can like poke fun at my kids and they totally understand like what I mean. But like I understand that during this age, they are so sensitive and so picky, and it's like if you poke one way, they could just like totally have a meltdown, and so it's definitely like dangerous territory. But it would be
the
fun.
line is so thin that you could cross. Like,
yeah, that's so true.
no, but that actually like if you guys knew my dad, he's like super sarcastic, everything that comes out of his mouth. But that was like, he taught for 15, 20 years, and that was like part of the reason why he ended up getting out of it. Like, because he like couldn't shut it off.
Yeah.
Like, so like it's just it's important if you use it like if you're doing it healthy, but like also sometimes you can't turn it off. That's what I was worried about. So
Yeah.
it's like, as soon as I go, I always think I'm like, all right, I can't like say dumb stuff sometimes. Like. But
and sometimes you get that kid that just keeps it to himself, and you don't know if he's okay or if, like, inside
he's like crying.
Oh my gosh, my teacher hates me.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Oh, the next page is what I talked about with like transitions, like finding it difficult to transition between like lessons and classes and stuff because like they're having problems making, you know, time management and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. These are executive function was something that I was like, that it sounded fancy, but I mean, it's obviously, you know, it's just a mental function. It's just control of mechanics and skills. And that's like, this is definitely, as much as you think that it is, the middle level time is so crucial for kids to understand, like how to be time managers and like how to like, like have good conversation. Like it's not perfect. It's not going to be the way that like high schoolers converse, but like, this is how they're learning how to not be like, like they're learning how to like speak what they actually want to be talking about instead of just kind of shrugging it off and not saying anything at all. So that's interesting.
Yeah, people are so scared of like middle school students just because of like the way that they act. The way that like kids at that age is like it's the age that you either develop good habits or really bad habits like that.
Yeah.
Carry on, especially in high school. So just putting small stuff into their brain and trying to shift them in good ways, like you can do.
Yeah, like you can like still have fun and you can still be serious, but you don't have to be too serious with them because it's like it's just so delicate.
Yeah. Yeah. And that kind of goes to like what it says in the next page. Like we're working with students whose brains aren't fully developed. Like we're working with kids who aren't there yet. Like they aren't even close to being at their top most, you know, cognitive level. They're not even close. So it's like, how do you foster that growth, but also, you know, teach them fundamental skills that they need to know now that they really kind of don't have the capacity to know fully. So it's definitely interesting.
Yeah,
Figure that out.
I really liked on page 29, in bold it says, as a result, the 7th grade class is likely to include men, women, and children. And, like, that's just so true because, like, I mean, that's the middle school, and, like, they're all at different stages of development, like, physical, mental, emotional, like, you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
But you have a kid who's, like, 6 foot, like, huge, but like inside he's like 3 foot tall. Like weird.
Yeah, that's super true. Yeah, that's tough, and it's like you can't plan for that. Like it's like a wild card every time you start a new year. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun too. Like at the beginning, trying to figure out your class and see how you gotta deal with some kids in the group. It's
yeah, I feel like that's the outlook on the teachers. Either they're like, oh, this is going to be so much fun, or it's like, oh, not again, like another round.
Yeah. And that's something that we kind of had the opportunity to, like, go into. Like, we're going into excited. Like, at least for the first years. Like, you know, we're dreading it a little bit. We're kind of nervous. But, like, at least into it going